And we're here with head coach Danny Hayden of our baseball team for our 2020 season preview. Coach, obviously expectations are pretty high this year. Coming off a very good year, 37-19 overall. Got a lot of people back. A lot of people are saying good things about our team. In fact, the recent Baseball College Writers Association poll came out, ranked us 33rd in their preseason national poll. How do you manage those expectations?
Well, I think the easy thing for us to do is stay committed and focused on what we're doing today, and that's always what we talk about in our program. I will be a broken record all year and have been for the last 3 or 4 years that's the important thing. You know, we had people saying some good stuff about us in the middle of the year last year, and we kind of limped into the finish line, and I think that was good experience for us to make sure our focus, no matter what an outside distraction might be, that our focus very much is what we're doing day to day. How much better are we getting, or if we're trying to get 1% better every day. When we talk about push the rock all the time in our program, pushing the rock is not getting focused on a poll or the upcoming schedule or what's ahead for us at the end of the season. It's today, right? Right now, today, guys have an off day today. We're focused on academics and crushing it as hard as we can in the classroom to make sure we're setting ourselves up good for the rest of the week, that we can attack practice the rest of the week, and that, I believe, is what our team is focused on and what our coaching staff is focused on. So that's how we'll manage expectations. I think we're good too. I think we're a good baseball program. I think we're a very good baseball program, but we're only good when we focus on those things and we take it day to day or one pitch at a time.
One thing that I've really noticed about this roster, it's a veteran roster. You got several seniors who are expected to play pretty big roles. How does this experience help the team?
Well, I think it depends on how you look at the roster. We have a ton of guys back from a position player standpoint, and we have a fairly young pitching staff this year. So I think the blend is very good, and we also do have a lot of good senior leadership inside of our pitching staff to make sure that the new guys kind of understand what the roles and expectations are going to be inside of our program. So I really do like the mix we have this year. There's definitely a different energy, a different vibe. I think a heightened attention to detail in our group this year than last year. But there's some things that when the season starts, we have to see how some new guys react to them. I feel really confident with some of the returners that we have because they've been through the ringer a little bit. They've responded to adversity well. And when you know how to respond to adversity, you typically don't forget how to. But it will be a new opportunity for some younger guys, too, that haven't been counted on a ton yet in our program to see how they respond to adversity because it's coming for everybody. They're going to have the bad day. And when you have your best stuff or you got your best game ever, it's easy to go out there and feel good. It's when you get it handed to you a little bit. How you come back up off the mat is the difference between somebody who's going to make it and somebody who's going to have a tough college career.
So some of those newcomers, how do you feel they've adjusted? Both your JUCO and your freshmen. How do you feel they fit into the program so far?
I think culture is a strength at Miami, and I think guys have done a good job of leading by example and also leading with their actions and in some different cases with words to make sure that guys understand what the expectation and what the standard is here in our baseball program, and it's been a seamless transition, I think, for most of these guys. I also think part of it is when we recruit, I think we recruit good people, so it's not hard for guys to come in here and blend in and then fit in really quick, and then also impact our culture in a really positive way. You know, we have great diversity of thought inside of our program, and I think that's one of the great things that makes our culture special is that we aren't cookie cutters with people's personality. We want their personality to come through, and I think a lot of our junior college guys and our freshmen have impacted our culture in a really, really positive way as they've learned what some of the standards and expectations are from some of the older guys.
Let's break down the roster a little bit. Infield, it seems like you have a lot of people that could play a lot of positions. Can you talk about the infield, including the catchers?
Yeah, it's definitely a goal in the recruiting process is to find as many athletic guys that'll give themselves options on the field. That's how we've tried to recruit for a while. This is the first year where I think we can actually look at our infield depth and feel like we do have great competition at each one of those spots, and there's 3 or 4 guys that can kick around to every spot in the infield as well as some other spots in the outfield. So we've got some guys that have made themselves very versatile baseball players or that came in as very versatile baseball players. But I think one thing you'll see for sure in the infield and in the outfield play is that we're going to be very athletic this year. We've got a lot of guys that can run, and they're very skilled players. I don't think we did not have a particularly strong defense a year ago, but I do think it'll be a strength of our team this year with as much competition as we have for positions. Like I said, I think we have 4 guys that can legitimately play shortstop right now. That has not been the case in our program in the past, and it's exciting when you can have a group of athletes that you feel that confident about. And catchers-wise, you did mention the catchers. I don't think there's. I mean, I think we're a little spoiled at the position right now. Cal Lovers did an awesome job last year managing our pitching staff, but Nate Stoles and Cole Andrews are both very, very good players back there. Big recruits for us and have worked their way into really reliable options for us. And I think there's a lot of trust between all 3 of our catchers and the pitching staff. So I do think that's a position that we're a little spoiled at right now.
All right. And then the outfield, what do you have to say about them?
Yeah, I think we're going to be athletic, and I think there's a lot of different combinations that could see themselves kind of panning out on our defensive alignment right now. Christian Tejada played a lot of center field last year, and I think that's definitely going to be in the cards for him again this year. And then we have 2 really veteran outfielders in Kyle Winkler and Parker Massman that are both very solid players, both offensively and defensively. Parker's a really special defensive player out in right field or center field. He can play both of those spots. But there's also going to be a lot of competition for all 3 of those spots. There's newcomers and there's infielders that are very athletic and very good hitters that are going to create really good competition and add really good depth at each one of those spots too. So I'm very confident that what we put on the field is going to be very good, but who goes where is going to be up to them.
So now moving on to the pitching staff. You do have a lot of newcomers in that thing, but it is still headlined by Sam Bachman, who came off last year MAC Freshman of the Year, Freshman All-America. What are your expectations for him sort of this next year?
Yeah, well, the great thing about Sam, it's really tough when you have Sam's a very talented player. We have a lot of really talented players. But Sam doesn't, I don't think, isn't reading any headlines or doesn't buy into any hype that is maybe created for him. He's a very talented player, but Sam is where he's at because of his work ethic, because of his buy-in to our program and his teammates. And I think that's the really cool thing about him. And as you go up and down the pitching staff, Sam is the way he is because of the senior leadership we had a year ago and the senior leadership we have this year too. And I think our pitching staff is as cool a unit as we could point to on our group, that it's a really tight group of guys that work really hard. Their focus is really high. They're super efficient at practice. There's very little distraction for them. They are very, very focused on their goal. Sam is a huge part of that, but Grant Hartwig is a huge part of that. Jay Wilson is a huge part of why the culture looks the way that it does. And Bailey Volsticki is a huge part of why our pitchers are as disciplined as they are. I think there's a lot of guys that, names that maybe people that are familiar with our baseball program, but not as much our current roster. There's a lot of names that they're not going to have heard yet that are going to have a lot of success for us this year, and it is because of the veterans that we do have coming back. Even though it is a somewhat new pitching staff, the veterans have had a huge impact on, I think, what we're going to be very good at on the mound this year.
Then how do you feel like competition has been with a lot of those roles up for grabs this year? How do you feel the competition among the pitching staff has been?
It's a major strength it's awesome when you go through the fall and you can have as many guys getting as many different opportunities as they did, both on the pitching staff and with our position guys. I think it created the best fall we've had here since I've been here in terms of the attention to detail every day, because it's one thing when you say it, but you've got the starting job. It's another thing when you can look over your shoulder and see somebody who's awful good at the position you're playing. That heightens your awareness pretty quick. Your attention to detail goes up pretty quick, and that's been very, very true for every opportunity we've given a pitcher this year. There's someone behind him that is also very good, and every opportunity we have for our position guys is very similar to that. So I think through the fall it's been awesome. Now the challenging time for a lot of guys comes because now the lineup card's going up, and I think we got a lot of guys that have earned and deserve the right to be on that lineup card, except for there's nine slots on it. You know what I mean? So this is the part where we'll really see how good our culture is as guys continue to buy in and guys continue to push the rock in our program, even if their name isn't on that lineup card 3 times a weekend, and that frustrates them. Their buy-in isn't hindered by that. Their work ethic isn't hindered by that. They respond to that adversity in the right way, and that's something that I don't I'm not fearful of. I think our guys will handle it really well, but that's the next test for us.
What about your coaching staff? You have Justin Detman, Matthew Passour returning. You brought in now Dusty Hess. Joe Forney is your director of baseball operations. What do you have to say? What can you say about them?
Well, I am as lucky as any coach in the country in terms of the people I get to work with. The one, just from if you don't know anything about the staff other than what you could read on their bios, we've got 3 other coaches on staff that have been head coaches and run their own programs before, and that experience is invaluable for me to be able to bounce ideas off of. I know for the staffs I coached on as an assistant coach, I was a very much a learner on those staffs. I was trying to learn my way through college baseball and figure out what this job entailed, what it looked like, and how I could be a hard worker. And that's how a lot of people are. And our guys are certainly, they're growth mindset guys. They're trying to learn. They want to get better at their craft. But it's also nice that I can rely on their experience a lot when we have issues come up in our program, or there's just a day that, man, I didn't like how yesterday's practice went. When you guys had practices that didn't go great, what did you guys do to fix that the next day? And there's 3 really fresh ideas in the room versus this is how I've always done it, So that part of it is huge. Joe Forney is the absolute rock of our program. He does everything in our program, and he crushes his job. I love the people that we have. I love the spots that we have them in. I'm as confident as I have ever been in our coaching staff and their ability to come to work every day, push the rock, set the example, model great behavior for our players, and then go out there and work like crazy to develop them and create tremendous buy-in for everything that our players are working through.
All right. Kind of looking at the schedule, you've put together a challenging non-conference schedule, and then you've got your MAC schedule coming up soon. Starts when you're going down to Texas A&M, another ranked team. What do you think about your non-conference schedule, and what also then do you think about the MAC this year?
Yeah, I like the non-conference games we have. I'm really excited that some of the home games we have. Home games are really crucial for us because it's extra practice time, it's extra development time. Plus, you get the whole group around each other. When you travel, you can't take everybody, and I hate leaving guys at home. This is a family, this is a group, and I like being together as much as possible. But we have a home weekend with Penn State this year. We've got Illinois coming to town this year. So there's some really good baseball programs that are going to be coming to Oxford to play us here. So that's exciting. I love that. Opening up with Texas A&M, it's something we want to do every year. Some things outside of our control last year with opening weekend, although St. Louis was a great program, and I liked that test early. But I love opening up the season with, 2 years ago we opened up at Arizona State. I love that test for our guys. Texas A&M, it's a college baseball blue blood. They're going to be very, very good, and I'm excited. I'm beyond excited to watch our guys go in there. And what I think we are right now is a group of guys that's not going to be intimidated at all by a really nice stadium and some other really good baseball players because they're confident in themselves and their abilities that they are also really, really good at this. And this is a big-time college baseball program, and we're not going to bow to anybody. So I'm excited for the test. That Texas A&M's a great baseball program. We have several great baseball programs on our schedule, and I'm excited for each one of those opportunities and to see how our guys handle them. As far as the MAC, I think this will be one of the more competitive years. I think the MAC has gotten a lot better over the last 2 or 3 years as a conference, top to bottom, and I think this year is probably going to be a pinnacle for it, at least in the last 5-year window. I think this will be as competitive as the conference has been over the last 5 years. I think there's some really, really talented teams at the top, and I don't think there's as much separation as sometimes there has been at the bottom. So I think every week you're looking at a dogfight, and you better be comfortable in one-run games. Which is something I think our team has been very good at over the last 3 years. But if you're not going to be good in one-run games, I don't think you're going to be very successful in the conference this year.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. February 14th, you're about to take the field against Texas A&M for the first game of the season. What's your message to the team?
Man, it's as simple as it can be. We've got an opportunity today to focus on what we can control. Our group is a percent better a day group. So honestly, who we open up with and the proximity to where we are to that game is not of consequence to our guys. Our focus level should be the same tomorrow at practice as it was at the end of August when we got the guys on campus. Like, that is what our program prides itself on, is taking care of each day like it is the most important day. We don't talk about goals that are at the end of the season. We don't focus on anything in our program that's at the end of the season. Every goal we have is inside of the moment that we're in, and how successful we are is 100% determined on our focus to that moment and focus to what we're doing. When we're in the weight room, we shouldn't be thinking about practice. When we're in the classroom, we shouldn't be thinking about the weight room. We should be where our feet are all the time and focus on a little bit of how good we have it and how hard we have to work to continue to make it better. So I don't think the fact that we open up a week from now at Texas A&M, I think our guys are excited for the opportunity, but they also know that we've got a lot of work that needs to take place for us to be ready for that opportunity. And us focusing on a game next Friday is not what's going to get us better for it. Focusing on the drill work that we have today and tomorrow for them is what's going to make us prepared.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.